Ladies and gentlemen, first show of 2025 with the original crew because no one else has showed up yet. Jay Clean is here, though.
What's up, Jay? How you doing? Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome back. Better than ever. I think this is going to be a good year. I think it's going to be a good year.
I think it is. Jay Clean says, the hell's even on the docket today? That's a great question, Jody.
Well, we can. It's open topic, right? But I will say I aligned myself with Corey Miller, and for those that don't know, there was a show called Arm Wrestling University, and he used to do that show with Uncle John. I think it was like last year, maybe a year before that, maybe, and it was going good. And then all of a sudden, I think this is where Uncle John took a sabbatical from, podcast stuff, social media stuff, So, and Corey was looking to reboot this thing and asked if I want to be on the show. I was like, yeah, I can do that, no problem. So the whole thing of it is for everybody joining the show, Jay, Justin, the Drew, Scott, Legia. So is that how you pronounce it?
I don't know, man. I saw you read that name. I was like, what's he going to say?
Because I'm trying not to say it wrong. I know he's told me how you say it, but I apologize. The Big L, we'll call him the Big L. So what we do is that we get like a handful of matches, wins and losses, but don't be that guy that wants to get all the wins and go, hey, check me out. No. We're trying to break people down to make everybody better, and some people shy away from that because not a lot of people want to have their stuff exposed, right? Pullers are weird like that, Ryan, where you don't want to show everybody your losses. It's just, I don't know. This sport can be a little egotistical too at times, but, the first episode, not this past weekend, but the weekend before, since we didn't have a guest, hey, I'll be the guinea pig. So we pulled up some matches of mine. There was some good, there was some ugly stuff, and I learned a lot. As we were talking before we went live, where I have a tendency to put all my weight on my elbow. That can be good and bad depending on where you end up. So if I got so much pressure on my elbow and I go to hit like this, I end up stopping right here. So this position right here, all my body's that way. And I have a decent lock here, but I can't finish here. And that's where people stop me. And Corey was explaining to me that it's not because they're strong. It's just, all they're like James Wall. If you watch that match, I'm surging. I go here, I stop, got a good lock, decent pronation when I'm locked here. But then I end up dropping my body, and that's what gets me in trouble, So he goes, well, it's not that you drop your body. It's just you drop your body too early in the match. Whereas, it's easier for me to get stopped. So I'm looking at that over and over. And he says, go find eight different matches because you do it all the time. Find 8 matches. Focus on the waist down. Don't even worry about what's going on up top of the table. Focus on the waist down. And damn it to hell, even pictures. And my body drops and I'm up here. Not King's move per se, kind of like that, but my body drops too early. And I'm up here and I'm relying on this lock to either wear my opponent out or try to, surge this way. And, when I saw that, it made me sick to my stomach because I can't believe, I was actually doing that. So something to mull over. So what do you think about something like that?
I think it's valuable. I'll tell you my observation for myself. So during the pandemic, I kind of got into power over technique.
Yeah.
So I was always more technical up to that point. 2018, 2019, and then I started relying too much on brute strength and power to get the job done.
Right.
Well, then I started arm wrestling guys like Corey West and, those guys. And when I used to be the biggest part of my game used to be my hit, and I lost a little bit of that. And then I would lose some aggressiveness in the setup, and I would lose some position. And who pointed it out to me was actually Ward Drake. Said, "You're not doing the shit you used to do. Sorry, 5 minutes. I'm already swearing, but we
we're
setting up in the strap, I would just let the strap go on and then just hit. No coming back up or positioning at the back and coming forward once the strap was applied. Just little things. You tend to forget all that stuff. Cody Merritt is in the house.
If he ain't busy, let's get him on the show. You know, I want to know, are they ever going to have that match now? Remember, East versus West, what was it, 14? Was it 14 where Corey beat Travis and the winner had to take on Merritt? That's what they were talking about, but haven't heard anything since.
Everything's kind of up in the air, but you fucking Jay Clee. Oh, wrong one. I'm going to show this for you. Oh, man. You ruined my train of thought. I was going to go back to one of Jay Clean's comments here once we get off this subject. But
you do realize, though, like, and even I had to go back to my earlier years in the sport and kind of go, damn, I was like just blasting people. And then I started thinking too much where, okay, now instead of hitting for the pin, let me hit for position. Or, you know, and Ryan, you probably dealt with this and everybody in the chat. When you grip up with somebody, somebody's trying to mess with you and stuff to blow your hand up before the go. And so I would just say F it, because we're at the 6:30 mark. I would say F it just to go ahead and I'll just do whatever, start the match. I don't want to sit there and waste time doing that. And then I got, more often times than not, I got screwed out, you know, of the setup. So it's just so much stuff you got to, you know, realize. And, you know, if there's ever a time to really beat me, I guess now would be the time. So I'm revamping everything. So new year, got to revamp everything. I'm glad we're doing this Arm Wrestling University stuff. So, yeah, now would be a good time to take you to the woodshed.
That reminded me of something as Clifton chimes in. So I'm going to throw him a link and see if he wants to jump on here.
Please do.
He's got John Tarian coming up.
February 8th, I believe. So
specifically, we were talking a little bit the other day about comparing lifts between arm wrestlers and how do you gauge yourself against somebody else? I said it's nearly impossible because everyone has a different apparatus. Everyone's got different equipment. Even that weird pronation lift. First of all, I've never seen an arm wrestling match start ass to grass squatted down.
Right.
Like, why is there a difference between standing up and doing that with a longer rope or belt or whatever you're doing, as opposed to like getting your ass on the ground and standing up with it? I get it. It looks weird. It's different. People are doing it. But
here, I'll give you a thing. I sit on a bucket, you know, big gallon Ace Hardware plastic bucket, whatever. I sit on that, but I don't do a pronation one because all that weight I see people doing is just hurting my wrist. And when your wrist is thrashed and damaged, a la right hand, you can't do a whole lot. So I don't want to sit there and we all get sucked into social media and Instagram and all that kind of stuff and seeing people's different lifts, right? Cool. But I do a back pressure lift, not so much a pronation lift. It's all back pressure because I want to be locked in here like I am on the start. Ain't that right, Mr. Erickson?
Yes, sir.
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Just sitting at work.
Well, we originally were going to bring Clifton on to promote his match way later. So closer to the match because it's not till February. But hey, no time like the present.
Right. How's everybody doing?
Pretty good, man. How was your new year?
Good. Got to hang out with the kiddos and the wife and relaxing, you know, trained a lot. And that's pretty much the story of my life right there. Training, family.
Now, you know, Ryan, before you hopped in, Ryan and I were talking about how you can compare your strength against other people in certain lifts. And I'm seeing you just, you know, with those Bill Goldberg traps you got going on. And I'm seeing you doing all those lifts and stuff. And I'm like going, good Lord. You know, I'm thinking, okay. I'm thinking, man. And what's the weight cap between you and Tarian?
220.
If John Tarian comes in at 220, that will be one of maybe the biggest I've seen him.
No, he's only going to come in at, he already told me, and we were on that Through the Fingers podcast. He'll come in probably around 200, 205. I was December 24th, I was 235 pounds. And then I went to Florida, and whenever I go on vacations, I lose weight because I lose my eating structure. So I came, and sweating and stuff like that, came back and I weighed 220. So I lost 15 pounds when I was in Florida. And then I'm actually going to cut down to 215, 213. So I'm within 10, 12 pounds of him.
Wow. There you go. Welcome to the show, Tim. How you doing? How was your New Year's?
Tim, where are you right now?
I'm at home.
Are you?
For a minute.
Oh.
I leave tomorrow.
Are you going to go get into some snowy climate?
I am. I'm about to be freezing tomorrow.
Yeah. Because I saw somebody standing out in the middle of a snowstorm, or a light snowfall, we'll say, talking about upcoming stuff.
Who's that?
I can't. You want me to say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Neil's out there standing in the middle of a snowy
Great.
outdoor somewhere talking about things.
Can't wait.
No, so Tim, let me get your opinions, because SB and I were talking. Clifton jumped on. Now you jumped on, and the question was, everybody in the chat, the Drew, yes, Lucky, Dan. The question was, how do you compare yourself in strength with all these different lifts between all the pullers in the community? And Ryan alluded to that. Well, everyone has different machinery or different kind of handles or whatnot. And it's kind of hard. So the first thing we talked about is the pronation lift. Some people do a standing, some people do a squatting, some people do a sitting. What's your take on all that?
I think that's the dumbest lift in the fucking world.
But
go ahead.
I mean, somebody started it.
It doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything for you. It actually just stretches your tendons and causes injuries later on. I think it's retarded. I'm all about bands and pulley systems, and I've always been about the light weight, more reps. That's what I've always done. That's what I always see being done. You do your PRs, right? Like you'll do a big one. But like all these people doing max weights all the time, I don't see how that benefits anybody.
It's a confidence builder. Like I used to have it in my head that I needed to be able to bench 500 pounds before I went to this tournament because I'd feel strong. And it had nothing to do with the arm wrestling match, but psychologically for me, I had to get to that level before I went to the nationals with guys like Mike Gould and Earl Wilson.
Yeah.
A lot of times when you have a match coming up, and Clifton, you're going to be the guinea pig in this.
That's fine.
Topic. So you see Clifton, and I'm seeing him on, InstaFace and all that kind of stuff, doing all kind of stuff. And I'm thinking, this dude's moving some serious weight. I'm like going, okay. And I'm glad when I see people doing that. At least they're putting the work in and not coming off the couch, Pac-Maning out, jibber jabbing, right? So at least you're putting in the work. But the almighty question is that going to translation to the table when it counts most? That's the question we all want to know, and it's going to answer come February 8th.
Yeah, and some people can push a lot of weight, and that's just normal to them.
Right.
But one would have to think, what's their recovery time like compared to someone who pushes lightweight? Because if you're pushing lightweight and you're just banding, and then maybe you do a couple PRs, you would think you'd only need about 5 days off. But if you're pushing heavyweight, I don't see how someone can't take at least 2 weeks off to get ready for that match, because their tendons are so stretched out, they're not going to be at full capacity.
Right.
I like that philosophy, especially for older gentlemen. Not speaking of myself or anything. We tend to do stupid things and nearly injure ourselves to the point where we have to, maybe pull out of a match. But thankfully not.
Well, and I've said too, all the stuff, because I do quite a bit of maxes. I'm not shy about it. I put all my stuff online. And I kind of tell everybody, because I get DMs all the time on people trying to do the same thing or doing a variation. And one thing I always tell everybody, well, there's no you doing it the wrong way. You do it however you want. And then plus also is that just what like Jody said, the translation to the table, I can lift 200 pounds side pressure doesn't mean it's going to translate to the table. It's just me, maybe getting my joints a little more conditioned, stuff like that. But to actually be able to pull that, I'm not going to know that. It's just kind of more of a, like kind of what Ryan said, it's more of a mental game to get me started, to try to get some kind of pressures in certain areas to be able to handle those pressures.
Some does, some doesn't. I mean, the stuff I used to do that I don't do anymore is actually translation to what I do now. So what I used to do, I get like a 100-pound dumbbell up to 120, and I would just sit there and hold it here. And then I would slowly eccentric, right? Slowly open up here and just sit there for like 10 to 20 seconds. Now, it's probably stupid because I can just bust my bicep any given point within that 20-second frame. But over time, by me doing that, if I got stuck here, I'm able to hold here, and I should be holding here. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, that does benefit, but at the same time, that's one of my bad habits, though, too. So I kind of rely on that,
Well, and there needs to be multi-angle. I've seen it time and time again where a guy trains and he gets incredibly strong in one lane. Like his back pressure is phenomenal. And you can't move him in that one lane, but you apply a little bit of side pressure and his arm just goes down, like, because he forgets. So it's I don't know how to answer that question, Steve. What is a heavy lift for gym lifts? Well, Todd Hutchings used to say you should have a minimum of 100-pound side pressure, like pure 100 pounds to be considered elite in side pressure. I guess that is a good benchmark for some.
Okay, see, here's the thing. That might work for Todd. But, I've seen people with good side pressure win a lot of matches and they ain't nowhere near 100 pounds of side pressure movement. I think, if this could be like drinking a Kool-Aid. Now, I'm not going to sit there and harp on Todd because he's done things for so long that's worked for him. At some point, all of us pullers, athletes, have saw something and probably try to mimic it. And if you're not, you're lying to yourself. We've all done it. We try to mimic that to see if we could do that and then add 5 pounds and fucking post the shit. But the thing is, though, is that, I got decent side pressure. I've won a lot of matches with just side pressure. I am nowhere near 100 pounds as far as pulling this way. Nowhere near that. So, I mean, to each his own, right?
Well, and two, going sideways, I mean, just with side pressure alone, there's so many different variables to the side pressure movement in my eyes of being, flat-wristed cup, little bit in, you could be a little bit out. And like what Ryan said, I can have 100-pound side pressure, but it's usually in just that specific lane. Somebody adds just a tiny bit of back pressure to get me half an inch this way. Well, that changes the whole ball game. The whole vector's changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it comes to like the whole what's too much weight, that's, again, it comes to the person, right? It should be about, okay, well, if I have 100 pounds on and I can do 20 reps, and then Ryan has 100 pounds on and he can do 100 reps, well, okay, then that's maybe too much weight for me, but not for him, right? It's all about how much reps you can do and how much you're actually straining your body and actually, I don't say damaging your arm, but blowing your arm up to where it's stretching everything out, right? It's all about the weight compared to the person. It's not, like I said, 100 pounds to me could be way too much, and then 100 pounds to Jody could be featherweight, right? So it's just a matter of what you're doing to your body.
You just set my new goal for 2025, Tim. 100 pounds for 100 reps side pressure.
Well, I've transitioned because, last summer, I got rid of all my weights, right? And I've kept, my 4 45-pound weight plates, but I've gotten rid of it. I used to always bench press, cool, and then it got to a point where it was just killing my shoulder, and I couldn't get back to 300 like I used to. Too much shoulder pain, so I just kind of said, you know what? There's no point in me having all this. I'm gonna just sell it. But what happened with the bench press system also was my pulley that was connected to it. So I just sold it all. And now I'm working with bands. and I got this big giant garage door spring about yay long. Hook that up to my wall on a stud, and that's how I do my side press now, you know. And yeah, you can't go up in weight, but how do you challenge yourself? Well, the further you go out to start with, the more it wants to pull this way. So you grab it, come over here. You can do static holds. You know, you can sit there and go through like that, but it's that muscle memory that you do, and then all of a sudden, bam, there you go.
How long have you been doing that for now, Jody? With the no weights and everything?
With the garage door spring?
Yeah. And just like no weights, pulley system, there's bands and all that.
Oh, since the fall.
And what have you done the last half of the year?
Did pretty good, actually.
Weird. That's weird, isn't it?
Did pretty good.
It's weird.
It all sounds like the battle of back in the gym where it's more reps, less weight, more weight, less reps. That's exactly what it is.
Let's not make it complicated. Take it back to the basics and do more reps, less weight, and see what happens.
I'm going to show you guys something that I bought because I cannot do conventional bench press anymore without injuring myself or hurting my shoulder, right? So I went out and I bought this thing, and it is changed a lot.
We got a fucking tunnel or some shit.
This thing right here, guys. Bought this off Bells of Steel, and I bench with a 45-degree handle with the extra range of motion, and it is, it's been incredible. So Bells of Steel, Canadian company, and I'm not sponsored by them.
Let me ask you a question.
Bars from them.
It looks like a bridge, which means when you go down, you can go further down than you can with your normal barbell, right?
Yeah, you can go further. So you got a better range of motion, and you see there's a hook attachment. You can actually use that thing for pull downs too.
And you're holding it this way as opposed to that way.
Yep.
Ah.
Yeah. So I've got a ton of stuff from that company, and no, they're not a sponsor, Jay Clean. I wish they were.
Interesting.
Yeah. Sometimes you just got to do. Everybody saw this, right? So, and I didn't reinvent the wheel. So I got this thing, and I saw somebody on YouTube, because we're talking about that, right? But this dude used it for pinch grip, right? You got to have a strong thumb for pinch grip. And so I'm thinking, well, it doesn't hurt to have a strong thumb in arm wrestling, depending on what you want to do. So I was telling Ryan before we got on the show, I sat there and watched that video relentlessly, took my butt to Ace Hardware, got some springs, bolts, washers, and all kind of stuff. And now I'm just sitting up here just doing this. That's it. This is just like the first version. I know I can make something like that better, and I will at some point. So, but just that thumb. Why? Because some people can pronate through the thumb. That doesn't hurt anybody, right? Didn't cost me a lot. I think it cost a total of $11 with all the stuff. And then, people are doing stuff with the bands, and they're doing that. Like Tim said, bands, you don't need a bunch of, pulley systems and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's just some of the stuff you do. Sometimes you got to go back to the basics. I'm not saying bike tube basics like I used to do when I first started, but the basics nonetheless.
Yeah. You guys want to talk a little bit about Clifton's match, because he's got a big one, man. Like,
yes,
I want to ask you the question, Clifton.
Okay.
This is gonna. I'm not trying to mess with your head.
Okay.
But you accept this match, presumably before Terrian pulled his last match, and then you see what he did with Brandon Alcesor, which is was unexpected by everyone on this podcast except for me. Oh, Tim picked him too. Does it? What does it do to you psychologically when you see him do that? Does it help you? Does it make you change anything?
So when I first found out about that, I was like, oh crap. Okay, well, this is gonna be in my head right away. Of course, I'm like, well, if he beats Brandon, this definitely heightens my match for me. It's better for me.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so that's a plus. Then when I found out that he did beat Brandon 3-0 and I didn't buy the live, then I was panicking because I was like, I can't see it. I got to know what's going on. So I went and bought it and then watched everything. And to be completely honest with you, I said on the last podcast, after I seen the match, I was less worried.
That's
Wow.
great.
And the only reason I say that, I'm not, everybody, Brian, you've known me for years. I'm not an arrogant guy. I'm not into that stuff. But when I watched the match, just if the positioning, like how that match went, goes in our match, I don't see me being in any situation that's going to cause me a problem, personally.
You know what I saw from that match?
A lot of dumped wrists.
How much training do you see online of John Thurian?
None.
How much do you see of Brandon Alcessi?
A lot.
A lot.
All right, rest my case.
Right. That is true.
That's interesting. I used to post training videos
Do you know
all
the
the time.
only reason I put stuff online is especially because I started doing it a lot when I accepted the whole John Thurian match, was just to so if he goes online and he sees me, just to show that I'm doing something. Yeah. It wasn't to really push any bragging or anything, but just to show that I'm not sitting around and just gonna jump in there and try. I've been training now for 11 months specifically for him.
Was this a left-hand or right-handed match that you guys are pulling?
Right-handed.
Okay, so the question Jay Clean has was Brandon fully recovered from his bicep tear from the what match? Stoica. Yeah. Was he fully, like, and that goes back to saying, okay, if someone's not fully 100%, why take the match, right?
I don't even think you can afford to think about it, For you, Clifton, like you need to assume that everyone was 100% at all times. Because if you think any less, then you might take your foot off the gas a little bit. And
that's how I have been. I'm not assuming that he was injured or anything like that. I just looked at the positioning, and in my eyes, it didn't frighten me as much as I thought it was going to be in that match. The only thing is that it did amplify my training for sure. Just knowing that now it's bigger stakes for me. John Thurian, when he posted his, I follow him on Facebook, when he posted all of his matches, he just won all these super matches, these big names and stuff like that. I loved it. Post away, put it on there, showing all your accomplishments. Because if I do win, it's only better for me.
Well, that all comes to you.
When's that match? What's the date?
February 8th.
Okay.
It's quite the card. That's the one where RVJ is also pulling against Saunders. Yeah. That's going to be a heavily watched card.
Is that the one in Montana?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. What else do we have between now and Knuckles Up?
I mean, hell, that's
Illinois State.
It's kind of a broad statement because I think Knuckles Up is the first big event to kick things off. Then again, there's something else going on that's on the down low, but
there's lots on the down low. Like we'll see it all get released previous to that. But I mean,
I'll be at Illinois State, January 18th.
Oh, that's Pablo and Brent Rocker's country.
I will see Pablo on the table at 220 that day.
Who's pulling at 220?
I'm just joking. Brent.
Oh, but I'm like, Pablo make it 220?
No, Pablo's injured.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think he had another surgery on his left again.
Ouch.
I don't think the first surgery went right. I think he had another one. I just saw a thing. He was in a big old cast. So I don't know.
Ooh, ouch.
Yeah. But no, I'll see Brent. It would be Brent's first match back since his injuries. So
yeah.
He asked me to come down to 220 and pull him. So
we'll see. In a match or just a tournament?
Just a tournament.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to mute myself for a minute here, guys. As usual, I have my housekeeper upstairs.
Well, the Big L says RVJ will get killed by Saunders, and then he will make a steroids rant video about Hermes. So RVJ is one of those we'll call it a mystery guy, because he'll come out, pull a match or two, go back to his cave, resurface, say a few things, go back into his cave. So he's a real mythical athlete, you know. Because I can't tell you the last time he posted anything on his YouTube, you know. So the Big L has a decent, you know, response to that. Clifton, Tim, what do you guys think about that?
I think it's interesting. I mean, I think it's an interesting match. It's what RVJ is showing up. It's on the homeland. You know, I know Sandras has been hungry. You know, he's been winning, losing. He's dropped the weight. He was pulling 105. Is there a weight cap on that match? Probably not. I don't know. It's if Sandras comes in at like 110, I don't think RVJ stands a chance. If it's like a 105 or something like that, I think it'd be an interesting match.
Yeah, it could be. Jay Clean also says, where's the lane where he wins?
He cuts off the top roll, clamps down. This big ass hand doesn't let him take his hand.
That's a tall order, man. Cutting off that top roll.
It's been done a lot lately.
Yeah, but look at who has done it.
True.
Yeah. So,
I also think Saunders is really fast.
Now this is the same promotion that does is this the drug-free thing again? Like
Yep.
That's their title?
Montana Armbender.
Yeah. So it's not a lot of those guys. Like I talked to those guys, and when they talked about the drug-free title or whatever it was, like they mean drug-free forever. Like have never touched anything performance-enhancing lifetime.
Yours truly.
Okay, fair enough. But where's the line on that? Are we just talking about like steroids? Are we talking about
any? I would say any HGH. Like I don't even take creatine. Okay, I don't take creatine. I'm not on TRT. Just Skittles and Starburst, pork chops, whatever, old school stuff, right? So you know that's where I'm at. And you know what? I've been talking to those guys lately. It's just, you know, one of these days I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there one of these days. So
I was talking to him too. I thought I was gonna get a match there. Turns out everybody's too weak up there.
Well, I take creatine by the bucket right now.
Who's got creatine?
I'm taking it like crazy.
I haven't taken that stuff in like 20 some odd years, man. Because when I played semi-pro football, yeah, I took it, but you know,
I've never taken no.
You can get lots of it just from eating red meat.
Hell, I barely even train. Fucking arm wrestling.
Well,
that's the
not everyone has your gifts, Tim.
Right.
Well, you should learn. Not a
What
sword.
else you got going on? I mean, we all got stuff going on this year. Ryan, you got about what, 3 weeks?
Man, it is well, let me see here.
Are you getting knuckles up, Ryan?
Under 3 weeks.
Yeah, he has a match.
Yeah, he's got a match.
Well, shit. Do you have a corner guy?
Are you going to be there?
I'm cornering Mario and I'm cornering Don Underwood.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, I have asked somebody to be my corner guy for that match already. I didn't know you were going to be there.
More the merrier. I'll be
my corner man, and you can jump in there and give us some advice. Don't tell me to press though. My corner man is going to be the second biggest athlete on that card.
Oh, well, stop with the Neil pickup clues, man. Just tell us who it is.
You don't know who the second biggest athlete is? Like
who,
physically largest.
I was going to say BJ?
No, his opponent. Meadow Orangi is going to stand in.
You're not even going to understand what he's going to say to you.
I know what he's saying. I can understand that accent. It's not a big deal.
Hey, you give that guy a couple drinks, you ain't going to understand shit.
I did that, and I still understood him.
Well, you're the special one.
In fact, I started talking with that accent by the time we were finished.
Oh, that's
Almost
great.
had a facial tattoo by the time we left.
That would have been funny.
Yeah.
So you got that coming up, and you're sounding like you're feeling very confident about what's going on. What else you got going for the year, Mr. Espy?
Well, I guess the $1 million question for you, Jody, is: are you going to finally commit to going to the Arnold Classic?
I probably not, because I just found out I'm on call that week. So things are kind of rocky right now, but it's going to blossom as we go on into 2025. But
Wow. Well, let's talk about the Arnolds for 1 second.
Yes, let's do that.
I want to know what's bothering me right now. Nothing's been released. I want to know.
The itinerary's been released.
The where? What time are you pulling?
I saw it. I saw the itinerary for the prelims and the finals and all that stuff. It's been released.
What time's the tournament start? What class pulls first?
Well, you're asking me to remember things, and that's not my strong suit.
I haven't seen anything. I've been waiting to buy my tickets to see how this thing's going to be ran. It's doable, but it's like one of those nerd things. According to my calculations, there could be 600 fucking entries.
There probably won't be, but they're doing. Hang on, I'll see if I can find it. You guys keep talking about it, and I'll see if I can find it somewhere. I know that I've seen it.
I just want more information before I commit to going. I want to know, I don't know. It's stupid of me. I want to know who the referees are. I want to know, what rule set are we using? I want to know what timelines are we pulling, because inside the booth, right, they're talking about, okay, the lightweight class is going first from 8 to 9, and then the next class is going from 9 to 10. I want to know, because obviously not everybody can just come there and watch. There's no sitting. Everything's standing. And
I've seen that itinerary. I just don't know where I saw it.
I don't want to cut you guys off. I got to head back to work.
All right, buddy.
I will.
Fun at work.
Oh, look, there's
nice balloons.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen. Have a good day. Thanks.
Take care, man.
Later.
Well, you also got to look at it like this too, because I think a lot more will be out there once the Knuckles Up goes by, because as we know, Knuckles Up 5 is the last chance qualifier for the Arnold also tournament, right, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they added that last chance qualifier thing.
Yeah, so there's also that, and hell, along with the Arnold tournament, they're going to have super matches, if I'm not mistaken, also.
Right.
So
I just want to see more of a timeline. I know they're good at what they do. They got a good staff. They have the right mindset. They have the tools to pull it off. Mm-hmm. I would just like to see a definitive timeline on how it's going to be ran for the weekend. For a simple fact, I want to fly home Sunday night. I don't know when I can do that, right? I can't. There's some things that I can't book right now because I don't know what time things are happening, if that makes sense.
I thought they started either Thursday or Friday.
They start Friday, but then they end on Sunday. But at what time on Sunday?
Yeah.
Because at one point, I think, don't quote me, but I think it was right arm Friday, right arm final Saturday, left arm Saturday, left arm final Sunday.
But you don't pull left anyway, so you good.
It's ready. We're going to test her out this weekend.
Yes, that's. What you got going on, Tim? I mean, you got the Philippines next month, don't you?
That was canceled.
What?
Yeah. So, from what I heard, they're still having it, but the backer of East versus West, I think, backed out, and so it's not an East versus West event no more.
What the hell?
So that's why I was getting ready for the Arnolds.
Gotcha. Damn.
See this, Tim?
I can barely see.
Well, it's on the website.
Okay.
So we have Expo stage from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. for that. On the Saturday will be the right arm finals. And then the left arm, this is the left arm in the Expo.
Yeah.
And then over here, this 10 to 12 on Sunday is the left arm finals on the Expo stage. What's
the booth from 9 to 4?
I have a feeling it's going to be some super matches.
Go back.
I guess I'm gonna ask you that.
So they're gonna finish from 9 to 6.
Yep.
Okay.
Hey, at least they got their own booth. You know, in years past, it was like, all right, you got a 2-hour window. You better do what you can and get the fuck off, because now we got to get ready for another sporting event on that stage.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think my team might go out. My biggest thing is I don't want to spend that money and then have something happen. But and yeah.
Hey, what about Winter Blast?
What about it?
Throwing it out there, you know.
What's the date of Winter Blast?
March 22nd.
March 22nd. What do you got going on there?
I'm in negotiations. I'm going to use that word. Instead of saying talks, I'm going to say I'm in negotiations, right? To have a match there at Winter Blast, March 22nd, East Coast, right outside of Philly.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the original opponent I had in mind, or I was talked to about, not going to work out. So now they're working on something else. And so that's what's frustrating about being the 15%, which is the left-handed puller, right? So, but they're still working on that. So I'm thinking, I'm telling the promoter, bro, make this thing. I'm saying yes. Do this. I've never been to the Winter Blast. I might go out there and lose my shit. They're like, no, let's go. Tell that guy who they had in mind, tell him to say, look, man, fucking let's do this.
One word of advice: get all your money up front.
Ooh.
That is true. That will be taken care of, by the way.
There you go.
So for those of you that want to know, somebody asked who my match was. It is Vitor. And we apparently are kicking off the event. Like, we're the first match.
Oh, that's nice.
Knuckles up. So
I love that. Get it out of the way.
yeah, then I can enjoy myself and hopefully celebrate.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident, man.
Oh, man, I like Vitor, too. Man, you guys are two of my favorite left-handed pullers.
Well, only one of us is going to win.
I know. Oh.
And it's me.
And then you just kick back and go, okay, I'm going to smack Vitor. And then I'm going to kick back and hopefully I get the nod. Not me, but you, Ryan. Kick back and get the nod. Says, hey, am I on the card for Knuckles Up number 6?
We'll see. You know what I think? I think there is a plan to have super matches at the Arnold's. So you never know what's going to happen there. My intention right now is to pull the tournament both arms. Both arms.
Oh.
Yeah.
And are they still giving out, like, there was talks about, like, the winners get an upcoming match or consideration or something like that?
Yes. So if you win the Arnold's, you get, if you win the right-hand division, they will give you a match on a future Knuckles Up card. If you win the left-hand division, they will try, but it is more challenging to find an opponent. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm running to right now.
Yeah.
Kind of going,
So to guarantee somebody a match with the left arm is a little bit more tricky.
you should get T-shirts and hats and make left-hand arm wrestling great again.
Yeah. You know what, Jay Clean? I don't think Vitor Belfort could even beat me right now.
Well, I'm sorry, Tim, that your match got canceled, man, because I was looking forward to the details and everything. So,
me too, man. We had a good plan, and I almost bought the tickets and everything, and then it sucked. It sucked, but it happens. There's more that comes around. There's other things, so that's why I was just gonna maybe make depending on things, make the Arnold my coming out of the 200-pound class.
there you go.
So Lucky's comment here. I completely agree with this. So we've learned this from, if you watch UFC, there are certain fighters that have never left the cage without lining up their next match. Adesanya is one of them. He always calls somebody out. When you get there and you say anybody, well, there's nothing exciting about saying anybody.
Okay, let's play devil's advocate. Let's just say, you know, Tim and myself are on stage. We're interviewing you. You know, I'm doing the play-by-play. I throw it to Tim. Tim is standing next to you and goes, okay, SB, who do you want next? And drum roll. You say what?
Well, I'm not going to tell you that because it would kind of bury the lead a little bit.
Do you have somebody in mind, though?
I have 3 names in mind already.
Give us your third name, your lowest that you would.
Tell
us after the show.
I'll tell you after the show.
I almost got him.
Yeah. There's 2 that are near the top.
Ooh.
Oh, I want John Therian. Let's just say it now.
Well, there you go.
Hey, we already talked about it. Arizona State. We might make this happen.
Ooh, I like that.
Matter of fact, we just might feel hands this weekend. I don't know.
Never know. You know, it felt weird not to have a match at Washington State. That felt weird to me. That felt so weird.
I was not doing anything. Corey Miller put me in the bracket. I was just chilling.
Right.
But it worked out. But I'll tell you what.
That number 1 win, yeah.
I'll tell you what, man. When I went into a hook that last IF match, I hadn't been in a hook like that in 8 years. That was brutal.
When your body's not used to that, it's like, whoa, damn, yeah. You know?
You know what it felt like? Like, it literally was like, I felt like I was pulling Herman McCoy again. That's what it felt like. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, you had to dig deep to find something.
Yes.
It was fun.
Yeah. What else has been happening in the world of arm wrestling? Like, I've seen people are running out of things to talk about with the holidays, and the King's move is a subject again all of a sudden.
Why?
Like, it's a...
Well, I'll tell you why. It's because now the new... So I've explained this many times. You know the King's move, everybody used to just come here, right? Straight back, and it was like this.
Like Mac Telly.
Now, the new King's move, which is beneficial for a lot of people, is you turn your whole body sideways and let your arm go this way. So now, rather than going straight back, it's almost into a straight arm, but not really, and you go like this. So when you're trying to get pinned, your elbow is on the back right, and your hand is all the way over here, and they run out of so much purchase, they can't finish because they're so far away. And then if you're over here, you can get higher and higher and start to come back. It's the new King's move, and it's going to work for a lot of people.
That was Michael Todd's match 1 versus Gennady.
Yes.
Match 1. Go watch
and when he did it against in Florida, I was reffing the match. Gosh, what's his name? Big tall guy. He was out for a while, came back and pulled him.
I got so many names in my brain right now. I know who you're talking about, but go ahead.
Talking about Lars? No, I'm thinking of a different match altogether.
Yeah, it was a different match. But the whole thing is like, I even got called out. Why didn't you call an elbow foul? Because you're looking from one angle. It looks like his elbow's this fucking far off. I'm like, you don't understand. He's completely sideways. You can't see his elbow's tucked in, and he's sideways. If you're looking from this view, it looks like his elbow's off, but he's not. And for Michael to now transition to that is dangerous because it's way harder to pin him because you run out. You can only come so far forward, even with that extra inch of that pad. He has an extra inch back as well, right? So it's offsetting. You can't pin him. There's no arm in arm wrestling long enough to make it that far. Yeah,
Well,
Imagine him
you
doing
have
that
that
on the
much,
Mac table.
you have to have that much pressure down, and people run out of hand, as Gennady did. You run out of hand, and you run out of. There's only so much power you can put down from that far away.
We haven't actually had a show since the Mac event either.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
I mean, and here's the weird thing about that one. I bought the pay-per-view, and I went to watch it, and it had screwed up, so I'd only seen a couple of matches. And I still haven't seen the whole thing. Like, I had time set aside to watch it, and then the feed was messed up, and I haven't gone back and watched the whole thing. I will tell you that they seem to have finished all of those, remember them 30-some matches? They finished those pretty quick. And from a referee perspective, Dave Knox said it's like the easiest style to ref.
I tell you what, your boy may be wow, that's later in the year.
You said enough. You said it all. Okay. Jody's going to Mac. We've heard it here first.
I've had many conversations with him. I told him all my opinion, the pluses of a lot of things, and also the negative of a lot of things. And I like talking to Ian because he'll take everything you have to say, and he'll truly take it and observe it. He's not just gonna deny it. He'll justify some things, but then some things where he's just like, wow, you might be right. We'll look into that. And that's what I really like about what he's doing. He's taking the advice from, 20 years in the sport, how long you've been in. He's taking that advice and adapting it. And it's not just what he wants. It's almost like what the people want and what's actually true. Right. And I think that it's going to build up to be something good in North America here in the next couple of years.
Yeah, if he keeps at it, keeps making improvements. What was that rationale for the pads changing dimension? Not for Mac, but for is it East versus West?
No, Mac was doing that too.
Well, Mac already did that right from the start, but
East versus West has had theirs change for a while.
Yeah. What was the rationale behind that?
What are they, 9 by 7 by 9?
Something like that.
Something like that. Extra inch front and back.
That's a WAL. The old WAL pads were 9 by 7, I think.
I thought they were 8 by 8.
Were they 8 by 8?
I think they're 8 by 8.
I thought there was an extra couple inches on the back.
I thought it was on the back and not the sides.
Because I think when Michael Todd went on his little road trips, he took his table with him, and he had those pads just like that. So I think it was like 7 by 9.
Right.
That's the one thing I don't like is we have all these leagues emerging.
Oh!
There's Neil Pickup.
What's up, buddy?
Ew.
Hope you're staying warm. Hope you're staying warm, my friend. Hope you're staying warm.
As we progress, these leagues are getting farther and farther apart in the rule sets. And I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Like, even IFA is talking about changing a few things, and I think the further we get away from each other, the less chance of everyone coming back together is going to be.
What'd you hear about IFA changing what?
Oh, there was a proposal on something, and I can't recall what it was exactly. It might have been pad dimensions. I think it was pad dimensions. But I think for the amateur side of the sport, it should be uniform, even with competing leagues.
That's all choice, though, isn't it, though? Like, for amateurs, if I want to go compete, it goes back. The only flaw I saw, and this goes back to Mac 1, where you had Heidi Cordner versus Jocelyn Brisson, right? And they pulled, but it was for like the #1 rank, and it went by a different rule set. My only thought process was that if you're going to go by, what is it, the in the hook rankings or whatever it was, then you have to do that on the actual, that kind of table, not a Mac table. That was my only flaw I saw with that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
yeah, because at what point we just going to say, okay, all right, we're pulling Mac, right? So it has to be for Mac rankings only, or we're pulling WAF. They can only be WF rankings. Like, you can't, because to me, I don't know. It changes. It could change the outcome, in my opinion. It could.
It could.
Not that it always will or would or whatever, but it could, right? And so the biggest problem we're dealing with, okay, like, well, you can't change the 200-pound rankings because they were 210, right? And then now that's going on. It's just like there's so many things that people are trying to get out of nowadays. Like that's why I think these rankings are just like they're whatever nowadays. They really are. Like I don't know. It's hard to trust them because when was the last time someone actually truly pulled at that weight class?
Well, here's a question, and I'm an honest question, and I want Ryan as an athlete standpoint, and I want Tim's response as a referee standpoint, right? And we'll use Heidi and Jocelyn's match as an example. Heidi, she lost 3-0, right? Okay. You know, if you watch match 1, this was match 1, she lost on elbow fouls. Now, if you use the basic 7x7 pad, which is about that much probably taller than the actual Mac elbow pads, with somebody with a longer lever, does that hurt them or help them when they go from the standard 7x7 pad to the Mac pad? Does that hurt from a height standpoint? Does that hurt them or help them?
Well, it should help them on the Mac table compared to a standard table.
Right.
They have a lot more room to drag.
Yeah, a lot more room.
Right.
I think it favors somebody with a high top roll.
Right.
But on the flip side of that, if you can come all the way forward and initiate that, hook, I mean, I guess it's whoever gets there first.
Yeah.
And you mentioned, Tim, about Michael Todd. Like I've never seen quite anything like it. And a lot of people will say, oh, Michael just King's moves. But he's had to adapt that move to different tables, different rule sets, rules being changed that he can't have his humerus in a downward angle. And he's found ways to do it. And I think people trying to get rid of the King's move have actually made it more dangerous.
Yeah, and now that he's trained his biceps so much over the last couple of years that he's able to just go completely sideways now and just hold. It's scary. It's crazy.
And he's twisting, and you can see it.
Yeah.
It's like
I cringe when I see that discolor area where it turns like super white. I'm like, ooh, shit, don't do it. And I always like cringe, but
Yeah.
And he's got Hermes.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of that one?
I hope that's the main event.
But
Tell me that's the main event.
Well, not with Devin and Gennady pulling it. Won't be.
Yeah, no.
Okay. You want to hear my gripe with that?
Yes.
So the 2 matches, right? The 4 guys, 2 matches. They were like the de facto semifinals because you had Jerry and Levon, rightfully so, main event. The winner of that was going to pull the winner of Michael Hermes for the number 1 undisputed down the road. Why wouldn't that be the main event? Like, what are we doing?
I would think that the main event would be Vitali versus Morozov left-handed.
Should be. I mean, it is for the stakes are pretty high.
It's the heavyweight number 1. It's no different than LeBron heavyweight number 1.
Mm-hmm. Is it for the title or just the number 1 ranking?
That's for the title. It's the number 1 spot. So I would have to think that would be. But how do you not put a Georgian as the main event as well?
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Well, Gennady, Georgian.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, he's pulling Devin, but still, it's like this. I get it.
Well,
from that standpoint, I get it.
You're not going to hear a lot unless you're watching Engen's channel about Morozov versus Vitali.
Why?
Because they aren't going to make you hear them as much as the other guys will.
Yeah, it's true.
They're going to be out there hyping that match.
Man, I'm telling you, like, this is left hand, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Plus, it's left-handed, Jody. Yeah. So we're never going to see a left-handed main event, are we?
Yeah, it's the peg folder match.
Yeah, it'll be the next one that comes to the US. It'll be Corey West and Cody Merritt. My prediction. If you're going to sit there and start throwing different events in different countries, okay, like Tim said, how can you not have a Georgia as the main event? Okay, you want to roll like that? That's cool. The next time, either King of the Table or East versus West comes to the States, there's your main event. Cody Merritt, Corey West. I said
we did. We had Jerry as the main event.
No, what I'm saying is that left hand.
Yeah, that's fair.
Is that a match anymore?
It should be, because wasn't everybody talking about that? Like the winner of Travis, right? And Corey West will take on Cody Merritt for the #1 heavyweight in North America. Did it not just say that?
The #1 heavyweight North American right now is Pablo.
Well, I meant super. Sorry.
Yeah, supers. He beat Cody for the #1 spot.
It's true.
He's the #1.
However, he is injured.
He is injured. He beat Cody in Canada, and Cody had the last win over Corey. So technically, in line, if Pablo was healthy, it would be Pablo and Corey.
Yeah.
Something got to happen. That's all I'm saying.
Until you have an elite guy that has beaten either one of them, then how do you not put that guy in the main event?
Devin versus Corey.
It's interesting. I don't think Devin loses that match. I think Corey might get one, but that's what we always say.
Jay Clean said, "Is Travis still training, or did he give up?"
Travis hasn't trained in 5 years, guys. Let's stop with that.
Yeah. He never gave up because he never started. Here's one here. Like, yeah, I agree. Sarah Wilson needs to be in some big matches, but she needs to be given some big matches somewhere. We do have a really, really big co-main event at Knuckles Up between Heidi and Gabby. Gabby coming off of a loss.
Sarah's been offered some matches.
Oh,
Is it left or right? Because right now she said her left is not 100%. I'm sorry, her right is not 100%. I want to say it's shoulder or something like that, but her left is legit. So it's like, what are we doing here?
A lot of people had a lot of offers for Arizona State last year.
Was she one of them?
Mm-hmm.
Was it left hand?
with them.
So who was her opponent? Can you even elaborate on that?
Would have been like Fia.
Because I talk to her regularly, and we kind of have that same situation where, yes, I know,
Which things come up, people can't make it. It wasn't like it just life happens. But I mean, in my opinion, and take it as you will, like Knuckles Up is doing good things, and they are, and there's a lot of ladies. There's 3 ladies matches. Don't get me wrong. Like,
Well, and you
good.
got the co-main.
But just know that if you also are looking for a different event that has a lot of ladies matches, reach out for Arizona State. There's always a lot of opportunities.
there you go, Sarah Wilson, and I will let her know that. Like, hey, there you go. Matter of fact, I'll get on the horn with her as soon as we get off this show.
There's going to be a lot. There's going to be even more than there was last year. Going to be there this year.
Woo! You
So
see
I'll
that?
ask you guys one thing without seeing the card, without seeing the matches. As you know, there's always a secret match after Knuckles Up.
Well, I won't be there, so I won't.
There's always one more match.
Who, you and BJ?
No, they don't pick it until the event, and the arm wrestlers actually pick it.
Oh, I know who it is.
Well,
I know if I was voting, you know who I'd say?
who?
Esper, you're gonna hate me. Tim, you might hate me even more. The chat might hate me even more than that. If I was in charge in that secret match, which is why Knuckles Up is cool, because they do things differently.
Keep in
If
mind.
there was a secret match. Come on,
Keep
Tim.
something in mind, Jody.
You
Keep something
must
in
got
mind.
a phone call.
He'll be back. But keep in mind before you say this, you can't take somebody that was in a left-handed match and then get them to face someone else that was in a right-handed.
Yeah, no sound.
No, I tell you right now, if it was me, secret match, I'd say Tim Tallman, and I might be biased.
It's got to be
would
somebody
say-
that was on the card. It's usually someone that was on the card. Tim's gone.
Come on, Tim, you killing me, man. You know who I was gonna say?
Who?
I was gonna say Tim versus Ryan Bowen, but Tim's on the card, so.
But then Ryan's pulling right arm against Tom Holland.
Vectors will be all right.
There he is. He's
Now
back.
you have to re-say it because I didn't hear it. Damn it!
I was gonna say, and Ryan said it had to be somebody who had a match, and I was like, damn, I don't care. I'd say it anyway. I'd say Tim versus Ryan Bowen. Fuck
Let's
it.
go. Let's go.
Fuck it. There you go.
Let's go.
So
Or you say, hey, we'll save that and we'll roll that in to Knuckles Up 6.
Let's go.
well, most of these matches are right-handed matches. Oh my God. They're all right-handed matches except for mine.
See, left-handers get no love.
I am the only one pulling left.
That's probably why you're pulling first.
Oh, damn. Hey, Tim, you had a question for Lucky. She wants to know, because there might be some interest. When is Arizona State this year?
June 7th. June 7th, Arizona State. It'll be nice and cool.
Yeah.
Crisp, 115. Come on out.
Well,
See? Tim versus Bowen would be awesome. Don't make me start making some phone calls and go, hey, Chris, William, holler at me, man.
so
I got a
what
proposal for.
would normally happen here is you would take all these guys that are pulling right-handed and you'd pick two of them to pull a left-handed match.
Fuck it. Hey.
Or if somebody had a real easy left-handed match, maybe they find themselves in a left-handed match for the secret match.
Y'all want to hear something crazy? SB, you already know this because you and I talked about that. Hey, Tim, what would you think if I said, fuck it? Because you know sometimes the people on the halftime show would be like, hey, who you want to pull? Wouldn't it be funny? And this is where SB is going to start smiling in a second. Wouldn't it be funny if I just said, hey, fuck it. Go ahead and give me a Metarangi. Screw it. Let's go. Left hand. Just say.
And it would be even better that if you went off screen and you just walked down the hallway.
That would be funny.
Ooh,
That would be awesome.
that would be awesome. I think you should do it.
Might be able to make it happen.
Oh, Tim, get it going. Get it going.
All right,
Mike.
boys. We are at the 107 mark, and I do have to go to work.
Us too, but I'm gonna hang
I'm
on
off
here.
today.
Stay on here while I sign us off, and I'll tell you who it might be.
Sorry, everybody. This is top secret stuff. So it's.
Yeah.
Happy New Year, everybody.